like, I'm not sure if it's because I'm in.
Yeah, because you're in it.
If I'm in it, but it's like nothing. Like, you have people that identify themselves as anything right now.
And that's the part why I found as the mockery to trans people, when you start identifying yourself as just whatever. Because now they're saying, like, I identify. What stopped me from saying I identify as a Kung Fu expert, and I don't know nothing about Kung Fu, and you must call me Mr. Fuji or Mr. Miyagi. And I'm like, that's like more of a name. You must call me a sensei. And I'm like, I'm confused now.
Sensei as in the foul?
Yeah, like, I'm like, so I'm like, yo, should we just call people? All right, here's my thing with the pronouns, right? Let's get into it. Pronouns. I don't mind calling a trans person he, she, or him, or
whatever
whatever, right? The issue is when they try to force me to do something. That's my only issue. For example, if to say, like, for you, I have no problem calling you she. I'll call you my sis.
Yes.
I have no problem with that. Cause I'm trying to get used to calling you that. Cause I used to call you my bro all the time before you transition.
Yes.
So I'm getting used to that. So now I'm kind of more used to that now, right? So my issue is when trans people is saying, I am a woman and you must call me that. And I'm like, you're a trans woman. You're not actually a woman. But for respect, I'm going to call you a woman because that's what you identify and I respect you. But to say that, no, I'm an actual woman and then a straight woman that's born a biological woman is cis. And I'm like, how can you switch the meaning of woman? But then you don't want, but you don't want nobody to call you trans woman, but to call you woman. But then you turn around and call that natural woman cis. That's my issue.
Well, for me, you have different people. They look at life different. For me, I just categorize it as it is. Yeah. Like, I don't put nobody in a box, to be honest. Once you, like for me, as I start transitioning, I'm a woman. Especially when you went through most of the surgeries.
Yes.
I'm a woman. I'm not going to look at her and say she's a cisgender woman. I'm just going to say she's a woman.
That I can respect.
Because at the ending of the day, if I say she's a cisgender woman, she have the right to come and say, okay, she's a trans woman.
That's my issue.
You understand? So I just say, okay, we're all women. I respect her. She respect me. He's a male. That's it.
There's a lot of closed-minded people, though.
Like, even with the pronouns, I don't be doing it.
Like my circle of friends, I have a group of 12 friends, and 4 of them are trans women. And when we go out sometimes, we go to straight clubs or whatever, they respectfully tell men, like, I'm a trans woman. So I'm telling you beforehand. And then when men get drunk or whatever and they try to dance on,
they know better.
Then they get mad. Like,
that's
a nigga.
They've been knew it.
They told you.
They told you in
advance.
Out of respect.
Yeah. So why are you getting upset? But then again, that's a closed-minded person.
Yes.
They came in this establishment. They let it be known. Okay, we respect y'all. You respect us. Why are you still getting mad?
Why are you getting mad?
I just can't stand it.
Because my whole thing with the whole the trans pronouns, the issue is because a lot of trans, like for example, I'm a designer, right?
Yes.
And I meet a bunch of people that say they're non-binary or they're trans women or trans men, and I call them what they want me to call them. But to force me to believe it is a totally different thing. And I'm saying right now, I can respect it, the 100%. But you can't tell me that that's what that is. You can't tell me that I must believe that you was born a woman when I clearly seen you born a man. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, now you making it about an ego thing. And I'm like, that's when you lose people, because right now, if I say, yo, call me nigga, I identify as nigga, and you must call me nigga. They're gonna pull up, like, what? They're gonna pull up, no, call me nigga. That's my pronoun. White trans people are gonna feel offended, yo, I don't know, but I identify as nigga. And then they might.
Or you could just respectfully call that person their name.
Their name, yes.
But then some trans won't even do that. No, I identify. I mean, you're doing the ego thing. Just
For me, it doesn't matter if you don't have to call me she, nothing. Once you call me by my name.
Thank you. In the story, right?
That's it. I step in the room. Hey, Kylie, how are you?
That's it.
That's it. I don't need to hear, hey, girl, how? No.
Another question I want to ask you, right? All right. Have you ever been discriminated against because of your transition?
Nah.
All right.
Not since no.
That's good.
Because you know what?
That's good.
When you transition, you have to know where you're accepted. My doctor's office, it's very respectable. I don't have a problem. Where I do my cosmetics, surgeries and all of that, respectable as well. Where I do my lasers, my hair, even my makeup, my fingernail, anything.
Yeah.
If they don't respect me as the person
they don't need your money, honey.
You don't need to get my money. So I've never been discriminated. Like on the streets, yeah, you know you're gonna get people gonna say shit when you're walking down the road. But otherwise from that, like in an establishment, no.
Not to cut you off. Sometimes the problem is they wish they can be as confident as you, look as pretty as you do. Like if we was walking down the street and I see I compliment people all day. You is beautiful.
Thank you.
Like you would never tell that you transition. You look like a natural woman, and that's the problem. People have lack of confidence. Oh my God! Oh, that's a man. You mad because she doing it better than you, boo.
And the thing is, with that, to back
that
up
do
what
be
you're
happening
saying,
sometimes.
I've been to places before where the men don't have an issue, or the men don't see that, okay, that's a trans girl, and it's always a female that points it out to the man and say, I've been in positions like that.
And I feel like those guys already knew.
The guys already know.
Yeah, but the females just try to make it how they, I'm on you, right?
Jealousy.
And they're gonna front.
I've seen it in so many ways. Like,
so it's a fake sisterhood, even in that.
Yeah, like I done been to bare places, and all my transgender friends get bare respect.
Yep.
And I love stuff like that. Like respect those who respect
even Jamaican
you.
parties. I used to party before I transitioned. I used to go to Jamaican parties like crazy, and out of respect, I stopped going to Jamaican parties. I recently start going back to Jamaican parties, and it's only selected Jamaican parties. You will not get me in a Jamaican party that keeps on Flatbush Avenue or Northern Avenue. No.
We need Queens
You're
and
not
better.
getting me there. I have to be in a area where, okay, the men are gonna wear their jacket suits, and I'm gonna wear a gown.
Or the ball, yeah, you bougie.
Those cute little events, because I'm not about to go running and ducking shots and all of that stuff. And if you're keeping depending on the promoter, I will go. Because a certain promoter draw a certain crowd.
Yes.
True.
So certain parties I won't
They love
attend.
gunman.
So yeah, and when I go to those parties, I don't have any issue.
Yeah.
Ever.
So another question I want to ask you, right? With trans again. Do you think it's fair for trans women to compete in women's sports? Think that's fair?
Depending on the sport.
Depending on the sport, to be honest. Depending on the sport.
Name a sport.
All right, so you have sports like basketball. You have females that play basketball. So if it's swimming, I don't see no problem with that.
Now, I see the problem with it all the way around, because the trans woman is born a boy naturally, right?
But then we're looking at it that, okay, they were born a boy, but you have to look at it. If that trans woman has been on hormones for a while, that person really don't have much energy.
That man
as a man
feature don't exist
because
anymore.
You get more weak when you start taking the hormones.
I hear what you're saying. That's what the argument a lot of trans keep saying is argument, but it's been proven scientifically that even the person's weaker, they're still stronger than the woman because their bone density, their heart don't string is still the same size.
You have a lot of females that really be
as a fact.
Strong as
hell. I'm agreeing with
especially in the sports.
But usually the women can compete with the men because of the muscle density, the heart, the XY chromosome, the thing that men have just naturally have than women have. So trans women that transition to trans women, they still have that advantage, although it's lower than normal for a man.
Okay, so do you think a transgender should compete with male, or they should just have a section for just transgenders?
I think you have to try for the transgenders.
That would be nice, though.
It would be nice, but I don't think listen, if a person transition and they turn into a female or they turn into a male,
Because
I think it's only fair they could do the sport.
But
because then if you said, okay, they're supposed to have a category just for transgender, then you're taking them out of this box and put them in a box by themselves.
Because you know why? It's because you don't see trans men trying to get into the NBA or play men's sports because they think like
a lot of trans men do
yes.
play sports.
No. I didn't say play sports. I said try to get into the men's leagues. You don't really see this. The men
do.
No, they don't try though. But you see the trans women try to get into the women's leagues way more, like even swimming. The trans woman swimmer, she was like 490 something place in amongst the men, but she converted into the woman and came first place with ease because of her long ass shoulders.
First of all,
it was like this, whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, I won. I said, come on, that's not fair to the woman. So my thing is this: if you had my boy calling me too. I'll call him like. So my thing is this, right? When you have like basketball, like women basketball players is skilled. They're skilled, right? But they don't have the actual muscle, the toughness and the strongness as the men. They just don't have it. So if you transition into a woman,
Some do.
No, I'm saying, but majority don't have it.
Some do.
you gonna get it.
No, I'm telling you right now. Ask Serena Williams. Even her playing tennis, she even said like, "Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. This feminist is boasting up these things by saying men could do what women could do. But women could do what men could do. But I just can't keep up with the men. It was the dudes lower tier men that was destroying her on the tennis court, and she couldn't keep up because of the power they had naturally. And it was kind of like weak amongst the men, but just amongst the women, and just naturally stronger. So I'm just saying, if you transition into a woman, you're still gonna have the bone advantage. You're still gonna have the heart is still gonna be your lung capacity is still gonna be bigger, regardless of the fact. So if it could dwindle, you would still have an advantage. That's why hold on. That's why the Olympics, the trans woman won the weightlifting contest for ease because
And with these sound effects,
they was on hormone pills this whole time, but that part don't leave them. They get weaker.
But either like recently with the UFC.
So he said, and then we're gonna pick it back up again.
Okay, so either with the UFC.
More questions for you.
The UFC recently, trans woman had won, and the opponent he was competing against was complaining, like, "Oh my God, that's still a man," but
it broke her eye socket. See, a
different story.
I like, yo, like it was straight up. You know that movie, Bloodsport, on Van Damme versus Bolo, and he's like, I said, there's a Bloodsport attack. You can't get rid of that part. That's my only issue. I think that is a disadvantage for the woman. I just think that trans people should have their own sport or fight to the death. Now I'm playing.